6 appeals to the approval of the Alton gas project. Last week, I asked the minister if she was familiar with the precautionary principle enshrined in Nova Scotia's Environment Act, but I never did really get an adequate answer, Mr. Speaker. So to be clear, the precautionary principle states where there are threats of serious or irreversible damage, the lack of full scientific certainty shall not be used as a reason for postponing measures to prevent environmental degradation. So my question for the minister again is this: did the minister apply the precautionary principle to this issue as required in the Environment Act?
The Honourable Minister of the Environment.
Thank you for the member opposite for the question. The precautionary principle is something that I'm quite aware of. All the approvals I granted to Alton Gas have been granted in mind with the mitigation of risk to the environment. So, all that has been addressed in the approvals. They all have terms and conditions that allow for the mitigation to be minimized. If you're going to talk about the precautionary principle, and certainly it's not something I want to debate because it's something that's been debated forever, I would take note that if you were going to take in the precautionary principle, my drive here today would have still had some risk. But nothing goes in life without risk, and certainly risk can be mitigated to make within the terms and conditions to make it safe.
The Honourable Member for Truro, Bible Hill, Millbrook, Salmon River.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I don't think that's exactly what the precautionary principle was made for, but I'll take that into consideration. Mr. Speaker, the appeals submitted on the Alton gas project also addressed the lack of consultation with the communities in close proximity to the proposed project site. On April 19th, right here in the House of Assembly, the minister agreed to meet with representatives of Sibinigadig and Millbrook First Nation, but only after the appeals were decided. Now, surely that's a textbook definition of meaningless consultation, to consult after a decision has been made. So my question for the minister, since the minister used to be supportive of community members opposed to things like fracking and the Alton gas project, why did she decline to meet with Sibinigadig and Millbrook First Nations and other community members before rejecting the appeals?
The Honourable Minister of the Environment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honourable member should be very aware that when there's an appeal process that the minister has to rule on, they have to stay very unbiased. For me to meet with any special interest group would have been in violation of my role as a minister in making that ruling. I do definitely support the community of Sibinigadig, and will meet with them at any time under any conditions. Certainly, they are members of my constituency. I certainly support them. And as for the Sibinigadig River and the conditions on the river, Mr. Speaker, the Sibinigadig River is near and dear to me. My husband and I had a farm there for 25 years. I've watched the tide come in and out many, many times. My father has fished or gotten fish from that river and done a business on that river. If I truly believed that there was a risk to the Sibinigadig River, I would have been the first one opposed to the river. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for